He attacked the woman right in front of her husband, and when her husband rushed in to protect her, he pulled out a gun and shot him dead before her eyes. He then ordered his men to keep assaulting her and to kill her child because he couldn't stand the sound of its crying. After that, Hawkins and his crew left Claire unconscious and abandoned. Claire is a prisoner from Ireland who was granted freedom on the condition that she work as a waitress in the British training unit commanded by Lieutenant Hawkins. That night, an inspector named Goodwin visited the unit to assess whether Hawkins was eligible for promotion to captain. That night, Hawkins and the soldiers organized a party to celebrate his new assignment. Claire was tasked with singing at the party, and with her wonderful voice nicknamed Nightingale, she quickly won everyone's affection. After her performance, Hawkins called Claire into his private room and ordered her to sit on his lap. Claire refused and firmly stated that her term of service under Hawkins had ended 3 months ago. She requested a formal hearing to be officially discharged. Hawkins grew angry, insisting that whether or not Claire would be released was entirely up to him. Right then and there, Claire was forced by Hawkins to continue serving him. Later, she took her husband, Aidan, back home. As Claire was talking to her husband, Aidan noticed a wound on her neck and began to suspect that Hawkins was the one responsible for it. The next morning, Claire's husband, Aidan, went to see Hawkins to ask for a letter of recommendation to help Claire be released, but Hawkins flatly refused. That night, while Hawkins was drinking heavily with his comrades, Aidan suddenly appeared. He insisted on Hawkins writing a letter of recommendation for Claire, but once again, his request was denied, leading to a fight between Aidan and Hawkins. It turned out that the entire incident had been witnessed by Inspector Goodwin. After seeing Hawkins' actions firsthand, Goodwin concluded that he was unfit for promotion to captain. Although Hawkins tried to convince Goodwin to reconsider his decision, Goodwin bluntly said that if Hawkins still wanted to be promoted, he would have to go to the town to meet with his superior and make his case within the next 5 days. However, to reach the city, Hawkins would have to cross a dangerous forest, and the journey could take longer than 5 days. He ordered his 2 subordinates, Roos and Iago, to prepare food and supplies for this risky journey. Before they set out, Roos and Iago went to Claire's house to stop her and Aidan from escaping. There, Hawkins arrogantly demanded that Aidan apologize to him. Although Aidan reluctantly complied, Hawkins remained unsatisfied. His rage intensified as he proudly declared that he had assaulted Claire multiple times. Hawkins' behavior grew increasingly brutal. He attacked Claire right in front of Aidan, and when Aidan lunged to protect his wife, Hawkins coldly drew his gun and shot him dead before Claire's eyes. Not stopping there, he ordered Roos to assault Claire and told Iago to kill the baby, claiming he couldn't stand its crying. After that, Hawkins and his men left Claire unconscious and abandoned. The next morning, when she woke up, her heart shattered as she witnessed the deaths of her husband and their baby. The overwhelming pain quickly turned into a burning rage and a thirst for vengeance that consumed Claire. Holding her baby's lifeless body in her arms, she decided to turn to the military to report the crimes Hawkins had committed. However, when she reported the incident, the police officers were skeptical of Claire's testimony and took no concrete action. Disappointed and enraged, Claire decided to track Hawkins down herself to carry out her plan for revenge. She turned to a close friend of Aidan's for help, but for some reason, he was unable to accompany her on this journey. The friend advised Claire to hire a local who knew every corner of the forest to guide her. However, Claire initially refused because she feared being killed by the locals. Nevertheless, he reassured her that Billy, a local man, would not do that. At first, Billy also refused to cooperate with a white person, but he eventually agreed after Claire promised to pay him a generous sum of money. In the end, Claire hired Billy. However, she decided to lie about the purpose and reason for the trip. Claire told Billy that she wanted to meet her husband, a soldier stationed in the city of Lanciste. She feared that if Billy knew the real purpose, he would refuse to go with her. Before they set off, Billy told Claire that Hawkins and his accomplices had come to see him, but the actual guide for them was Billy's uncle, named Charlie. Eventually, Claire and Billy began their journey. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Claire took control of Billy. At the same time, Hawkins' group of men abducted a local woman who was walking through the forest. Hawkins' henchmen demanded that he include the woman in their journey and forced her to become their sex slave. Hawkins agreed to the men's demands. At night, Andrews raped the local woman multiple times. However, as they were on the move, a group of local residents ambushed them, seeking revenge for the abduction of the woman from their tribe. The attack came unexpectedly, resulting in the death of one of Hawkins' henchmen. In the panic, Hawkins shot the woman dead and ordered his group to flee. While Iago couldn't catch up with Hawkins eventually split off and headed in a different direction. Billy and Claire continued their journey and finally reached the area where the attack had occurred. They saw bloodstains scattered on the ground and followed the trail. After a while, they found Iago, and Claire shot and stabbed him to death. Witnessing this, Billy became terrified and decided to leave Claire, unwilling to continue the journey with her. Billy said that he didn't want to get involved in a murder case, but Claire begged him not to abandon her. She explained that she had killed Iago because he had killed her baby. Despite this, Billy didn't leave and decided to stay with Claire. From that point on, the relationship between Billy and Claire began to improve. In a moment, Billy saw a bird and told Claire that the bird would guide him to continue the journey. While Uncle Charlie guided them and changed the route, Hawkins' group got lost and even ended up moving farther from the city. Suddenly, without any orders or signals from Hawkins, Rue shot Charlie dead, causing Hawkins to become furious and beat him. Later, Billy and Claire found Hawkins, and when Claire was about to shoot him, she hesitated, giving Hawkins the opportunity to shoot her first. Claire and Billy ran, but Billy was caught by Hawkins and his men. Hawkins forced Billy to lead him to the city, and eventually, they reached the main district. There, Hawkins ordered one of his henchmen, the boy Eddie, to shoot Billy. However, Eddie failed, and Billy quickly found an opportunity to escape. Eddie felt guilty and remorseful for not being able to kill Billy. Hawkins, filled with rage, shot Eddie dead for missing the opportunity. Meanwhile, Claire was lost in the forest. As she was making her way, she saw the bird Billy had mentioned and decided to follow it. Eventually, the bird led her to the main district. Claire climbed into a carriage, heading toward the town. On the way, she saw Billy from a distance, and finally, the two reunited. They continued their journey into the city together. Once they arrived, Claire found Hawkins, who was in a meeting with his superiors. There, Claire didn't hesitate to humiliate him by recounting all the crimes he had committed against her family. Faced with immense shame, Hawkins couldn't retaliate. In the evening, Billy prepared the tribe's ritual to track down Hawkins and Ruse. He managed to kill Hawkins with his spear, but right after that, Ruse appeared and shot Billy. Despite being wounded, Billy got back up and used his spear to stab Ruse. The two continued to flee until they reached the coast. There, they sat down, watched the sunset, and sang together, marking the end of a challenging journey. The film concludes with a reminder: don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.